Hello and welcome back in this new episode of making a boring engine into a tuner dream engine. I don't know. I guess I'm gonna keep making these episodes until episode number 20, and then I'm gonna get back and make I'm gonna make cars instead of normal engines, and then after a while I'm gonna get back and continue doing the boring to a tuner dream engine series. So we'll go all the way to 20 episodes and then switch to making cars and special requests, and then like after 10 videos we will get back and make like episode 21. So in this episode I received an amazing request by Mr. Nate Caraway. He wants the Toyota 3FE engine. The 3FE engine used in, I think, in classic Toyota Land Cruiser, the big SUV at that time. It's an inline 6 engine, overhead cam. It's a torquey engine. It's good, and it's very durable, and it's very cheap to mend, and it's very cheap to purchase the whole car actually, because it's empty. There are no technologies in it. Nothing. It's very basic. It's an amazing and durable car. A lot of the actually you can see a lot of this engine here in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. There are a lot of Toyota Land Cruiser enthusiasts here. They love them here, especially when they go like to the desert, when they go to the dunes. Yes, they love them because they have amazing off-road abilities. So as you can see, this is the 3FE engine in its stock form. Let's start with the specs here. We have inline 6 engine, cast iron block material, 94 on the board, 95mm on the stroke, which equals 3956 cc, or you can say a 4-liter engine. Push rods 2 valves per cylinder, or you can say overhead valve. Cast iron head, no VVL. Cast internals, 0 quality. We have 8.1 to 1 is the compression ratio, a little bit low, I guess. It's low, so they can make this engine run on really cheap fuel. I mean, of course, no, it will not run on 80 octane fuel, but you get the point. It can run on 87, 91, whatever. It can run really on normal fuel without any problem. Let's see, we have 8.1 to 1, 33 on the cam profile, no VVT of course, plus 3 quality on the camshaft, naturally aspirated. We have this is the multi-point fuel injection, or the EFI injection. This one was, because there used to be a carbureted version and the multi-point fuel injected version. So yes, we have a single throttle body, standard intake manifold, and of course we have regular 91 octane fuel here. 13.9 is the air-fuel ratio, with 98 on ignition timing. The ignition timing, I had to go a little bit extreme here so I can make this engine to produce its official power and torque figures. Everything you see here is for a purpose, so I can make the engine to produce the correct power and torque figures. We have 5000 is the RPM limit, with plus 2 quality on the fuel system. We have a cast log header with 2.2 inch is the exhaust diameter, 2-way Kerala converter, and no first muffler, reverse flow, second muffler, plus 4 quality here. And this is the final result: 155 horsepower, 220 pound-feet of torque, perfectly matched like the real engine. The engine is very reliable. It has good fuel economy actually. And let's see, the octane, we are using nearly all of it. The emissions are, well, normal but a little bit high. The engine is quiet, it's responsive, it's smooth, it's a little bit heavy, 185 kilograms, of course, because everything is made from cast iron and cast materials, as you can see. Production unit, the engineering time is very low. That's awesome, and the production unit is extremely low. I like that. So any manufacturer can produce this engine. It's cheap. It's not really, as you can see, $1,109.50. That's cheap. That's very cheap. Alright, so let's start with but before imagining, let's fire up this beast first and see. As you can see, this is how it looks from the inside. Alright, so the engine actually makes a good sound, a good amount of power, and a very good amount of torque from the factory, which is good. Alright, so imagine that you are like a high school guy, or let's say that you don't have that much money, but you want to buy a Land Cruiser. You like Land Cruiser, especially the classic model, and you went online, or maybe you went shopping, you went and just purchased one. You find a perfect engine with a low mileage Land Cruiser. It will be amazing, it will be really cool, it's very durable, it's very cheap to mend, and it will live forever if you take care of it really well. So let's say that you bought this Land Cruiser and you have this engine, and let's say you serviced it correctly, put a good amount of good oil in it, change the spark plugs, and let's see what else, like you put the fuel injector cleaner in the fuel tank, cleans the injectors, restores some of the power, clean the throttle body here, clean the sensor here, the airflow meter maybe, or what kind of sensor this engine used. Actually, I don't know if it used like a mass airflow sensor or an airflow meter. I don't know. Land Cruiser enthusiast, go in the comment section and tell me what kind of throttle position sensor it uses. Alright, so as you can see, it looks very normal, and it looks very cool. Let's see, this engine actually it's very durable. I have seen some videos of this engine on YouTube. People likes to modify this engine, especially here in the Gulf region. They like to take this engine apart and overhaul it, put forged internals in it, higher compression than before, and even turbocharging. I've seen a lot of turbocharged Land Cruiser. Amazing. Alright, so let's say you bought this engine and you want to make more power, because come on, 155 on a big heavy steel chassis, steel body Land Cruiser, and this is not enough. So, and the most amazing part of this engine is it comes with a manual gearbox. That's awesome. So let's see how much power we can get out of it. Of course, as we all know, the best thing you can do to any stock engine with, of course, a cast log header is, of course, to change the entire exhaust system. So let's start by replacing the exhaust system. Let's say like you went to a junkyard, or like you bought it like an aftermarket kit, switch from a cast log header into a short cast header. Check out the difference in power and torque. Ready? Absolutely brutal. Like 17 horsepower. That's amazing, just by replacing the header. And now let's replace the catalytic converter, the old one, with a modern high flow 3-way catalytic converter. Look at the difference in power. Switch to a straight through muffler. Look at the power. If you can switch it with a bypass valves, you will gain more actually less. Wow. Alright, so because the power right now and the engine is breathing much better from the exhaust pipe, so no need to put bypass valves yet, or go bigger. Not yet, maybe later. Alright, so let's see how it will sound with this much power. We started with 155, now it's 192. That's powerful, just by replacing the headers and different catalytic converter and a different muffler. That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, check out the difference just by replacing the exhaust system. And this is not a custom exhaust system, no. This is a short cast header. This one, it's like an OEM replacement. That's awesome. Like if you want to go a little bit custom, a little bit more expensive, like a really expensive aftermarket exhaust pipe, or exhaust header, sorry. Look at it, 196 horsepower, 240 pound-feet of torque. Now this is a good This is a good numbers. These are good numbers indeed, and check out how it looks. It looks magnificent. That's awesome. Alright, so the next step is you are enjoying the extra power. How much horsepower we gained? Wow, we started with 155, now it's 196. We gained extra 41 horsepower. 41 horsepower just by replacing the exhaust system. That's awesome. 40 horsepower. This engine was wow, Toyota really choked the hell out of this engine with that exhaust system. Wow. Alright, so the next step is of course to switch to a performance intake manifold and intake system. You have to like save up extra bucks. And you can find these. I've seen these aftermarket. You can purchase these. They are available like everywhere, especially here in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. They are very popular. Like a different intake manifold, a custom intake manifold, a custom cold air intake system. Absolutely you can find them everywhere. Very reliable, very good, and they will make your engine to breathe better and to sound better. So this is how it looks from standard to performance. Yep, longer runners, bigger intake manifold, bigger throttle body, high performance cold air intake with a high performance air filter. That will make all the difference in the world. And 198 horsepower, 243 pound-feet of torque, much better. And since we replaced the intake manifold, let's see if the ignition. Alright, 100 ignition, like you went to a dyno and they put a different tune on the engine, so you have like 199 horsepower, nearly 200. Alright, so you can replace now the straight through muffler with a bypass valves muffler, rear muffler, a straight through muffler. That will make your exhaust to breathe much better with the new intake, with the new ECU tune. Check out how it looks amazing. 200 horsepower now. I know for a 4-liter inline 6 engine this is not a lot, but remember we started with 155 horsepower. That's awesome indeed. Wow, the power, the sound, the feeling, it just wow, absolutely brutal. And it's more lighter than before. Fuel economy is better than before. Let's see what else. It's a lot noisier than before. I know that, but it's much lighter. It's much more powerful, and it's more reliable actually. Because of course this engine came out like in the 1980s, early 90s. So yes, the late 80s, early 90s, and this engine was really good back then. So imagine if you replace all the classic parts, all the OEM parts with high performance modern ones from 2018. Of course the reliability will increase. Alright, so the next step is of course to change the camshaft, because this engine comes with a really small camshaft designed for a low-end torque and of course not much higher-end power. So the healthy thing you can do is increase the RPM limit, let's say to 6,000, and just replace the camshaft with a more aggressive, high performance and bigger camshaft with stiffer valve springs and new push rods. So let's see how aggressive we can go. I will keep going until we start to lose torque here. But look what I'm gonna do. I want to continue a little bit like to 50 because I want the power to peak at 6,000. Yeah, we lost a little bit of torque, I know that, but check out the power now. 228 horsepower. That's awesome. And now the RPM is 6100 RPM. That's cool. It will sound much better. Now let's check the exhaust system if it's perfect or not. No, actually, let's keep it the same, 2.2 inch. Alright, so with a different camshaft, this engine should sound much meaner than before, and with more RPM, it should sound much louder. Alright, now the engine sounds absolutely brutal. I love it right now. It's perfect. It's still torquey. It's still a torque monster. That's awesome. Alright, so the next step is to go like to a qualified fabricator so he can fabricate for you a long tubular header, a custom long tubular header. Check out the difference from 228 to 234. That's awesome. Let's see the exhaust actually, and yes, you can increase actually the exhaust diameter a little bit to 2.5 inch. You will lose a little bit of torque, but you will gain a lot more power, and this will make the engine ready for the next mod. But now let's keep this one, and let's see. As you can see, they are much longer runners, as you can see, and this requires a very talented and a very qualified fabricator to design it for you from scratch. Now everything so far is pretty much maxed out. Really, naturally aspirated, that's pretty much maxed out. And if you want my advice, after putting all these high performance parts on this engine, enjoy it, enjoy the power, enjoy the torque and everything. But now, when you have saved some money, open the engine up. Just open it and replace the internals with forged internals and higher compression ratio pistons. All of this will benefit you, I promise you that, and you can find these absolutely everywhere here. There are a lot of machine shops for Land Cruiser enthusiasts here and in the UAE and in Qatar. I think, yes, all of these Gulf countries here, they love Land Cruisers. So a lot of machine shops here are specialized in Land Cruisers only. You will find headers, intake manifolds, camshaft, high compression pistons, forged pistons, even CNC machined pistons, and connecting rods and crankshafts. So it's up to you what kind of build you are doing, a racing build, a high performance build, a daily driving build. So it's up to you. So the healthiest option to go through is to open the engine, clean the block, clean all the oil runners and everything inside it, and put new forged crankshaft, heavy duty forged connecting rods and forged pistons. This will make the engine more reliable. It can rev higher, and it will make the engine to run on lower octane value, as you will see right now. It used to be 88.7, now it's 87.7, and it will be a little bit much louder, I know that, but it will benefit the engine, and it will make the engine much lighter. So let's see now, with new internals in, we can actually rev the engine higher, like to 6,500, but no, you need to change the camshaft as well for a more aggressive one. But before changing anything else, we need to upgrade the compression ratio, because we just put a better high forged internals. So let's go with higher compression. Let's switch to 95 octane fuel, because it's available here and it's very cheap. It's not expensive at all. Let's go mental with the compression ratio, like 9.5 to 1. That's good. That's very, very good. 9.5 to 1. Let's put a more aggressive camshaft. Alright, that's awesome. 274 horsepower, and let's see, we want more RPM. Alright, 6,600, and we have 276 horsepower and 266 pound-feet of torque. I think the exhaust is restricting. Yes, let's see. Alright, so opening it up, as you can see, we have 2.8 inch. Or let's keep it 2.5 inch. No, okay, 2.8 inch, that's better. So we have 278 horsepower, 264 pound-feet of torque. Let's see the engine. Of course, the engine is running a little bit less efficient than before, but check out the power. Check out the power, my friend. And listen to that. Forged internals. Awesome. Now, you've been enjoying the engine too much with the new power, and you still want more. All of us, every tuner wants his engine to be an absolute beast. Even if he turbocharge it, supercharge it, even if he has like a 1,000 horsepower engine, he will always want more and more and more. That's our addiction in engine and power and torque. We always want more. So the next step is, of course, to go with throttle per cylinder or individual throttle bodies. It's very common. You can find these like everywhere here. They can make them custom made. You can have them custom made, but for this engine specifically, you can find them aftermarket here. They comes from Japan, or they make them here. So as you can see, throttle per cylinder. So now we have 6 individual throttle bodies with throttle linkages here, and this different intake manifold and the same air box, but we don't have here any throttle bodies. All the throttles are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 individual throttle bodies, and this will make the engine much more responsive, and it will make more power and sometimes less torque. Actually, let's see. But all right, so it will lose torque, but it will gain power. That's awesome. All right. So let's see, like 6,700, and let's fire up this engine now. But anyone that uses individual throttle bodies, they will not put any kind of air filter on it. So they will do it like this, racing configuration, no air filter. Like 99% of everyone with individual throttle bodies, custom individual throttle bodies, no, they will not put any kind of air filter on them, because they want to hear the engine like this. And the most amazing benefit of individual throttle bodies is, of course, the engine throttle response, because this engine was like very, very dreary draft engine. You put your foot down and nothing happened, but now you put your foot down and it will fly. 290 horsepower and 266 pound-feet of torque. Remember, we started live with 155 horsepower, but of course we changed the internals, and we changed the intake manifold, the exhaust system, changed the camshaft, the push rods, the valves, the valve springs, and we changed absolutely everything except the block and the head, I think. unless they count the head. When you for example, when you increase the quality, I don't know if they count the head as a high quality head, cylinder head, or not, but we always change the camshaft only. So the next healthy step to go through is, and this is like the last step you can do for naturally aspirated engine, is go with a racing tubular header, because you have like an open air intake system, so you want an open exhaust pipe. So you can go to a custom fabricator. He will fabricate like a racing tubular header. It looks very awesome. Look how long these runners are. Very custom made, very custom. And let's see, remove any kind of mufflers like that. All right, +5 quality. Actually, no need for quality. Alright, so like this, +1 quality, it will make the engine much better. Alright, so as you can see, the engine is much louder than before, and it's of course much more powerful. The engine used to be 290, right? Oh, I did not notice that. I didn't actually notice that the engine lost power. The engine actually lost power with racing tubular headers. Why is that happening? Why is the engine losing power? So the engine is better off actually with long tubular, not racing tubular. That's weird. Alright, so I guess I'm not gonna use racing tubular. Only remove the second muffler, and now let's listen to the engine with straight pipe, and of course a racing intake manifold. This is as loud as it will get. The engine sound really brutal at idle, and also at high RPM. That's very awesome. Alright, so you already know what is the next step that I'm gonna go with. Of course, turbocharging, my friend. So let's drop ignition timing very much, like to 20, and alright, give me a turbo. Ball bearing, let's say like 600 horsepower, supporting intercooler, like 60 on the, not 63, 64 here, and like 58. This one is maxed out, and let's drop it until we hit the sweet spot. Right now. Right, so 64, 41 maxed out air fuel AR ratio, sorry. And let's see the intercooler. That's perfect. And alright, boost, 12 psi of boost. That's good. Now let's bump the ignition time back. We actually need more. So more fuel in. Like 13.2. So we have 404 horsepower. But before we jump that high. Let's check the exhaust system. 2.8 inch, 3 inch, 3.2, 3.5, 3.5 inch exhaust diameter, more fuel in. Alright, so 3.5 inch exhaust diameter, that's too much I think. And like 13 on the air fuel ratio, and of course 46 on the ignition timing. Drop the RPM to 6,500 to make everything relevant. Check the camshaft, let's say 402 pound-feet torque, 440 horsepower. Awesome indeed. A little bit bigger intercooler, like high quality turbocharger, high quality injectors, high quality camshaft. The internals now the same. 450 horsepower, yes, 450 horsepower, 407 pound-feet of torque. Now that is a healthy configuration. That's very awesome. The sound, the power, the torque. The engine is running more than perfect. 17.4%. This is the new fuel economy. And remember, the engine is running on racing intake. So if you switch like from a racing intake to a performance intake, yes, it will lose a little bit of power, but check out the reliability from 62 to 82. So the engine will be more reliable. It will live longer, and it will be a little bit quieter. It will require less octane to burn, and it will lose a little bit of fuel efficiency, so it's up to you. And if you put like a muffler at the end, 2 mufflers to make it more quiet, like twin straight through mufflers with bypass valves, yes, you will gain much more. Yes, it used to be 450 horsepower, now it's 431, which is less. And I know that you want more power, but alright, so here we go. We are back at 400 pound-feet of torque and 433 horsepower. Now this one I like. I know that 450 horsepower is much better, but this one will make the engine live longer. It will make the engine live longer, which what I want. I want the engine to live longer. So 433 horsepower, 400 pound-feet of torque. Now that's better. Look at the reliability, 82%. That's very good. The engine is still smooth. It's very responsive. It's much quieter than before, but with a sporty noise to it. The emissions are low. The engine is perfect. The engine is running more than perfect. I love it. Now it's not stock anymore. It's HP, which is high performance. Let's see, reliable, 95, turbo. It's very reliable. 82 points. That's very reliable. These engines really were bulletproof. They live forever. And with these mods, you will have 433 horsepower, 400 pound-feet of torque. The engine is running very reliable. It still has good fuel economy to it. It's not bad for a high performance engine. The emissions are low. The engine is running more clean than before. Perfect. This is just perfection. And it will live forever with the new internals, the turbocharger, the throttle per cylinder, the new exhaust system, new injectors, new ignition system. Perfect. So this is my friends the 3FE engine made by Toyota. So thank you so much, Mr. Nate Caraway, for your amazing request. And this has been the episode of making a boring engine into a tuner dream engine, and this is a perfect example also for a very boring engine. It's very reliable, but it was really boring, but now it's still reliable and it's perfect now. 433 horsepower. Some of you would say that this is not enough. You should like go with 500 horsepower. I know, of course, I can go with a bigger turbo, but with this turbo, check out when the boost will come on. 2500 or 2600. The torque will be perfect here. The turbos are running perfectly here. 2600 rpm. Because if I want to put a bigger turbo, it will be running like on here on 3500, like to make 600 horsepower out of the engine. But this way, look at the curve. The curve itself is just like an art. Very torquey engine. Look at the torque. Look at the power. And it can rev higher now. It's perfect. So thank you so much guys for watching. Please, if you enjoyed the video, I know this has been like a long video, please, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you are new to my channel, please get subscribed and share the video if you want to share it, and keep requesting boring engines, and I'm gonna choose, like, I don't know how many episodes left, like 3 or 4 episodes, 3 I think. So I'm gonna choose the best 3 boring engine requests. I'm gonna read all your boring engine requests and I'm gonna choose like the top 3. I know this is a very boring engine, but I'm gonna keep reading your requests in the comment section, like for very boring engines. Don't give me like a Lamborghini engine or a 2JZ engine. 2JZs, because I received a cool request by a cool fan with a 2JZ engine, or a 2JZ. He told me to make it as a boring engine. 2JZs are not boring. These come stock with very good amount of power, like the RB engines. So no, I'm not gonna make them as a boring engine, because people will kill me if I named a 2JZ a boring engine, because no, it's not a boring engine. These are boring engines, the 3FE and like a lot of really boring low compression ratio engines. These what I want. I'm gonna choose the top 3 and I'm gonna make them and I'm gonna name like the winners. I'm not gonna present any prizes, but you know what I mean. I'm gonna choose like the top 3 boring engines in the comment section below. So keep writing. What do you think is the most boring engine ever? Give me like really the most boring engine ever that automation game can support making it. And I'm gonna wait for you guys for your comments. Please enjoy watching and watch all my previous videos. And if you want to request an engine or a car, please go to my channel, and before writing the request, search my videos. I made like 630 videos so far. You can search, just write like Toyota Prius or Toyota Camry or whatever. Just write it, and I think I made it. I think like I made a lot of cars, a lot of engines. So you may find it. Before requesting, just search it. You will find it. So thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna see you very soon, and goodbye for now, my friends.